This is Ronak and today we'll be talking about this. This is the BS6 version of Rock Red Himalayan 2020 and as you already know, this is the 2020 model. So I'll be briefing you a little about the bike. First thing is this bike has been bought in Lucknow in UP and it has been 20 days since I have bought this bike. I have still not got the registration number thanks to RTO, it takes time, but we'll be not talking about that aspect. What this video is about is why this bike is good for you or me or someone who is aspiring to be an off-roader as well as a tourer. So stay tuned, we'll be talking about this bike. I'll be covering my first point, which will be why you should buy this bike. And while I talk about this, because I have a question in the sense of my mind, because there are a lot of people, they think that this bike might not be suitable for them and some might not even know about this bike. But then there are certain challenges that this bike has. So first thing is why this bike should be bought. So moving on, the first aspect of the bike. So why you should buy this bike and what are the major good reasons to buying this bike. First thing is that I am 6'3" and this bike certainly suits me. Now see, I am 6'3" and I'm standing with this bike and this bike is still humongous. It's big, it's really big. So if you're tall, somewhere around 6 and above than that, then this bike will certainly suit you in the traffic because you might not try to take other bikes in the variant in the same price. Okay. So coming back to the good aspect of the bike. So first thing which I've already told you, that the length of the bike is a lot and plus the ride height. Cameraman, please put the focus over here. Thank you. So this is the ride height. While this is just a visor which doesn't comes up with it basically comes up with a transparent look, but then I have engulfed it with a matte black cover over that, so it now looks like more of a body part than a normal visor. Just to give you a front look of how this bike looks. So see, this is well, I have not cleaned it, it's not very glossy right now, well actually, but this is how the bike looks. And that's the way this bike should be. It's more rugged. It has got more depth in the lifestyle of the people who drive it. So, and another good point of the bike is that it gives you a really tall feeling. See, when I sit on this bike, and I can assure you that this is not an easy bike to sit on. While it's on the double stand feature, it has a double stand feature which Continental does not have. But this has it, and it's more of, I would say, a strong bike, a built strong. So how you should really get up on this bike is while you should stand up on one of the pegs and try to drive your leg through, and this way you can sit. You can do that. Or there is another way which you would have been doing in normal bikes, and that is while just putting your leg around and trying to jump over the bike, which you might not be able to do with the Himalayan because this is really tall. Finally I'm over it. But see, that is the thing I'm talking about. It's on the double stand and I cannot even plant my foot right, and as I cannot put my feet through. See, when I'm trying to put my feet, this one trying to plant it, the other one goes up. So if a guy of 6'3" feet height cannot plant his foot, that means this bike is for a tall people. Even though the stats say that the seat height is pretty much normal. Plus another thing, that this bike weighs around 200 kgs. 198 or 109 is the curb weight, but with normal the accessories that you put in the bike, which I have not installed yet, gives you somewhat around 200 kgs of weight. Because this is the accessory which is the only thing which I have installed right now, the leg guard. And it's also called the engine guard when you go into the depth of the knowledge. So this is the only accessory. It weighs around 3-4 kgs. So right now my bike is 200 plus kgs. So now to the second point of the bike, that why is it good. As you can see, I'm showing you the dashboard. Well, this dashboard is right now in the broad daylight, but then when you come up in the night, it's really glossy and really shiny when you do that. So this is the second point. The dashboard is amazing because when you're driving something, what you see in front of you, that's really, really impressive. And at night, this bike goes beyond your imagination. So the third point, which is really amazing feature about this bike that makes it a completely outstanding off-roader, is that you can see the space here. You got a lot of space in this. This is the space that allows you to crumble through rocks and like a very little type of trails which are there on the road, which you see every time when you go whenever you go through the highways. You always believe that, what if I had a bike that can drive through it? Well, this is the one. This is the one, I can promise you that. And the weight of 200 kgs gives you the stability to drive it in the possibles or the littlest of the trails on the roads. Okay, so now the fourth point, the good one about this bike, and which probably I was one of the most impressed when I bought this bike, is that it has a lot of space in which you can carry your luggage with you. See, I already have a lot of trail behind now before the pillion seat. So this space already allows you without adding any accessories, because this handle or grill bar does come with the stock bike. You don't have to enable the accessories or anything like that. So when I'm trying to plant some luggage over here, I can use the stitch ropes with which you can get things done and put the luggage over here without any accessories. I can easily buy 2 bags and then place it over that, and I can complete my tour very easy when I'm even riding with a pillion. But when I'm single, I have a lot of space. I have really a lot of space before adding any accessories. And the accessories, you already know, are the panniers that you get over here. Panniers with the pannier rack as well. So when you have the rack installed, you can put in panniers, you can hang in the luggage bags or the saddle bags that you can have. So there are a lot of options with this. So this is the fourth really important and good point about the bike, that you can carry a lot of luggage, which makes it one of the fantastic tourers that you can buy in the modern day. Now talking about the fifth point, which is really important, that makes it a really good tourer. And you guys will be thinking that why I'm not talking about the off-roading capabilities of this bike, because the YouTube really shows you the off-roading capabilities. You can find any video about the Himalayan BS6 or BS4 or BS3, whatever the video about Himalayan is concerned about. This is mostly over the off-roading part, while what I'm doing right now is trying to show you why it is both ways good for a tourer as well as for off-roading. So why is it good as a tourer? I'll give you. This engine here, it's not just a snorkel or just a small engine over here. This is a 411cc engine, and the power of this engine is not really into giving you a lot of acceleration, but then you have a really high low end torque. The torque kicks in very low in the speed. Like in the third gear, you can really push this bike somewhat to around at 100 kilometers per hour. That's that much of torque that you get in the low end. But in the higher end, you will just get a speed of around 140 at max, 145. I'm not challenging anyone, but then what I felt about this bike around the top speed, that's what I'm saying. So this is the fifth good aspect with which it makes it a really fantastic tourer. A 200 kg of curb weight, a 411cc down there, and with fantastic stability and the ride quality that it gives you. And now we'll be talking about the demerits of the bike. Why? Due to some reasons, you might not find this bike a better aspect to you. Okay, so now talking about what are the bad aspects of this bike. So first one is it has not got the tubeless feature in this. We have the tires with the tubes, and particularly because we have spoke wheels here, we don't have alloys, and it really becomes a hassle for you if you are not someone who loves rugged lifestyle or someone who wants a little bit of luxury in your life, because the tubeless really, when the bike goes puncture around in the traffic or somewhere, in the traffic it's fine, but somewhere when you're on the highways, you don't have all the accessibilities to you, it really makes life hell for anyone. So well, it happened. Actually, my rear tire, which is the broader one of the both, got punctured, and it was due to a nail. So just before I got my first service done, I already had a puncture in the bike, and I was on the highway. It was around 9 p.m. So there were not really a lot of puncture repairing shops where I could have gone, because this is just not a normal bike. Well, it is a big one. So most of the I would say the repair people just neglected me, because they said that the tire is too big for them to be repaired. So I had to luckily find someone who repairs cars and all. So I went there, I got it repaired. And as for the Royal Enfield assistance, that they also provide you assistance, but then they also need someone they also need a puncture repair shop near you. Otherwise, they will not be able to help you. Or there is another option that they can tow your bike and give that bike to you after it is being repaired. So it will take a lot of time. So what I decided at that moment of time, that I would search about a lot of shops and just try to find out which is the best one. So I got the bike repaired, and this is really a hassle. Really hassle. Hands down, it's a hassle for you. If you're buying a bike and you're spending somewhat around 2.5 lakhs on road, and still you cannot deal with a puncture at this modern technologies available to you, it makes a lot of it's make a life hell, I would say. Yeah, just definitely. So continuing about the second the demerit that I thought about this bike, or the cons for me, is that this bike really is a lot of exposed. There is a lot of parts that are exposed to you. Like you can see, this is the silencer and this is the radiators, and these all things really are tough because this is the Royal Enfield make, so these are iron and steel over here. But then this is not just something which should be open, because in any part of accident, somewhat if you got hit by something strong coming through it from the front end, and then your chassis might get disturbed and all the parts in that might get damaged as well. So a lot of things that should have been covered by Royal Enfield, but then it will make bike look something different from what it is right now. So I would say it will go both ways. And the third demerit I would add into that. The third demerit I would add onto that is the ride height. Okay, so third point which I would say is arguably a con side, because it is roughly not what Royal Enfield gives you a stat about. Because people when they buy a bike, or when they are interested in buying a bike, then they go through the stats a lot, because I am one of the person who goes around the stats a lot. What is the power that the engine gives? What is the torque that the engine provides? And what is the ride height? What is the seat quality? What is the available, what is the main infrastructure with the bike? What is made up of? So there are a lot of things which you can consider. But this is the major impact, because when you get through the stats, then the bike ride height is 800 millimeters only, which is the same as of Dominar 400, which is just the arch rival of the bike. I would not say KTM 390 is a rival of this bike, because that thing is really a lot expensive from this bike. That is somewhat around 1 lakh expensive than what Himalayan BS6 is. But then Dominar is somewhat around in the close price range, and it is one of the rivals, because these two bikes really are compared right now on the streets. So this is at 800 mm ride height, and Dominar also had the seat height of 800 mm for the rider. But the major difference is this, that even if it's 800 mm, the only way to reach upon this bike, if we are sticking to the stats, is this. If you can ride it, if you can get on this bike this way, then the 800 will not be, I would say, it will aspectly feel to you like this is 800 mm. But when I try to get onto this with some other different feature, right now, even if it would have been standing on the side stand, it would have been difficult for me to roll over and get on this bike if I am less than 6 feet height. So this is really disturbing for you if you go directly to the stats, because you have to do the test ride to know that. So this makes it a little, I would say, not a go for a bike for people who are less than 6 feet or somewhat less than 5'10". The major complaint about this rear view mirror is that it doesn't give you a perfect line of sight. Like, even if you try to adjust it according to yours, according to your need, according to your height, whatever, up and down, left or right, it will not give you the perfect view that you need. So this is one of the demerits I find in this bike, is the rear view mirror. And it could have been, I would say, a broader one, like the one in the KTM. The KTM uses. It doesn't have the appeal to go with this bike, but I would say still this, even if you make it in a circular format, Royal Enfield could have given a like this much big mirror for us. So these are the points. This was the last one actually. These are the points I wanted to talk about a lot, because this is my new bike, and you can see I don't have the number right now. It's just a plain nameplate, so nothing is attached to that right now. This bike really gives you a lot of things to ponder about. There are a lot of demerits with a lot of things in the world. A lot of things in the world doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter. You should do what you like. So I have told you what I like about this bike and what I don't like also. And rest other things are just superbly perfect in this bike. Why I went for this bike is that because it gives you the appeal of a perfect off-roader and it gives you the feel of a tourer when you are on the highways. So even if the YouTube is filled with off-road videos a lot, and Himalayan also, the Royal Enfield also gives you likes of around that if you want to buy this bike, you should be appealing for off-roading. But then I wanted something which is rugged as well as can help me out with daily situations, like daily commute as well, and can help me out with the long range tour if you want to do. So this is the complete review of Himalayan Rock Red 2020, and this bike, ladies and gentlemen, is a tourer, is off-roader, is a daily commute vehicle as well. Okay, so I just wanted to give you the size difference of this bike. This is a 100cc HF Deluxe, and this is the 2020 BS6 Rock Red Himalayan, and I guess it's really gigantic, guys. It's really gigantic. The size is really big compared to when I get seated on this bike. I look like this, and as comparison, when I sit on this bike, this looks really huge. I cannot get on this bike very easily. I have to hop it over it for ease. So this is how I look. It's really tall. When you're driving on the Himalayan, when someone is in the car, even if it's a small hatchback or it's a sedan, you don't have to look like this. You look like this. They're below you. So this gives a lot of tall height, a king size feel when you're sitting on Himalayan rather than some other bike. So you're already in a tall position when you bike this bike. So this is one of the most important feature, as you can see, because some people wanted a bike that looks like a king size bike. So just wanted to add one more thing. I wanted you to hear the exhaust note of this bike, and this bike is fuel injected. So when you put on the bike, the kill switch should be on as well. So after that, I put the bike on right now. Well, you can see this is the sound that it makes, and it's really sharp, and it's more like not a thumpy voice, but it's a voice of its own nature. Himalayan has its own voice. So I would just like to rev it a bit and show you how it goes. So in the end, I would just like to add that if you drive this bike or whatever bike you feel like, it should be more of a lovable part to you, not as a burden or what people say. It's the bike which you should buy is the one which you like the most. So, well, this is one of my favorite bikes. Even if I had 5 lakhs to spend, I would not have gone for the KTM 390 Adventure or the BMW 310S, because this is Himalayan and this is Royal Enfield. This is India's make, with which I would have gone till then, and this is what I love. I love my bike, even if I have not done a lot of kilometers on this yet, but I'm looking forward to it, and this is one of the best bike you can buy. So whatever you drive, just love it.